Okay, Baker and Molasses at the movies.
What kind of cookies are we giving away today?
We're outside today.
Whoa.
Nice ambiance.
Yeah.
La Norma.
Yeah.
La Norma.
It's Abby Norma.
Right. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we're going to talk about Joker first. We keep rounding the bases on this film. And it's funny. I liked it very much the first time. Second time, I was with you and Mia and her Jay. And I felt so guilty, like I had turned you guys on to some demonic heroin because you were all
and now I'm
traumatized.
Hooked. Now I'm hooked.
And then you came around. So you saw it a second time.
I saw it a second time, and even though there's a song that they use that's very personal to me because it's something that I'm to my father, and I won't go into all that, but it bothered me. The violence still bothers me, and what bothered me about the film, as an aside, is that it kind of glamorizes, sympathizes the character. He's so charismatic. He's got so much.
Right.
In his movement, you mentioned his movement, his dance. There's a dance that he does. There's a movement that you are attracted to him. I think there's a danger in that. Mm-hmm. And that's what's bothered me in liking it, because in terms of pure filmmaking, it's wonderful. It's fabulous filmmaking.
Right.
Even sans the couple moves that I would make in terms of the edit that still probably work in the totality of the scenes. I won't wreck it. There's some major, violence in this film, Tarantino-esque type of violence.
Right.
So, with that being said, the second time I really saw the filmmaking, the soundtrack, for instance, is just it's just fabulous.
It is.
And a leading performance is how can you not admire the guy to be in the skin?
Right.
Less of it because he lost 52 pounds of it.
Right.
And he's really ultra, for him, because he's a bigger guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he just blows you away with them.
I think I agree with you a lot about the ending. If it hadn't had that ending where he sort of acts like he's getting away with this and he is sort of a hero, or supposed to be, I totally agree with you on that. I think if it had ended differently, I would be okay with it more, because I don't want to make him be a hero. However, I think the first part of that movie establishes empathy so well for a human being who's been traumatized.
Yes.
That's what makes the story to
yes.
me. That's what makes it a great movie. Those moments where you see this guy struggling, bullied, not making it in New York,
Yeah, lied to,
right? His mother was abusive.
Being made fun of by the talk show host even.
Right. He was deceived by his mom. There's a lot there. So, but I agree with you on the violence.
It's a perfect brewing of a monster, and it's a comic. It's not a comic book movie per se.
No,
to me,
it
doesn't play that way, which is another excuse of why I didn't realize after. Oh, it's just I didn't realize this was a Batman movie.
Yeah, maybe that's why it bothers both of us that the ending makes him out to be a hero, because the murdering is not heroic, right? Making it through life and not murdering is heroic.
Yeah, that's I don't know, we're going to be cut off of the system here.
Right.
Yeah, he kills people. There's a not to be but I guess we shouldn't do a spoiler alert. There's somebody in the film that you don't know if that person is killed or not.
Right.
And he doesn't generally kill people he doesn't he kills only people he doesn't like or mistreated them.
Or mean.
That's kind of like the checklist to-do list.
Right.
So,
But why do we allow, for Dexter, that HBO show that everyone loved, I didn't like it because of that.
I didn't watch it.
But people saw him as a hero because he was killing the bad guys all the time. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it kind of, and here's what my take was, not to read the review. I didn't bring the review to read. But I wrote a review on this, and I said what troubled me more than the film was the fact that I asked people outside of the theater, just in passing, just a general question, was it too violent for you? And they said no.
Yeah.
And that bothered me as much as the violence did, that there was such a casual, and it was kind of like with Parasite, the same thing. I went, oh my God, really? I was like, oh, it's an R.
I was flabbergasted.
It's an R.
Gus teaches us. We're at Longboat Key Education Center right outside, and Gus teaches a class here. And when you asked that question to class, I was flabbergasted that hardly anybody cared about the violence in Parasite.
Yeah. What is that telling you as a teacher?
I don't. That
former
even,
teacher.
But that even older people are desensitized to it now, which is
What is it?
I
The
always
news?
thought,
24-hour news cycle?
I don't know. I thought it was a younger generation, but when the older people were like, "Yeah, this didn't bother me," I'm like, "What? I can't." It's just hard for me to take that.
Yeah, I think it's ratcheting down. It's like a cynicism.
Well, or maybe I know some people can compartmentalize in their mind. See, I've gone through things in my childhood with violence and stuff where I probably have a little bit of PTSD. You know what I mean? And I'm not comparing it to military, but I'm just saying I'm more sensitive to it. And you're a sensitive person. So I think we are more... I can't ever just say it's just a movie, where I think other people can go into a movie and go, it's just a movie. So if there's violence, it's just a movie. I think
that's a great point. I can't. I wear it.
I do too. I'm into it so much that I'm into
But I also think it influences you.
Yeah.
So films that they... And again, I'm a total First Amendment guy, and this is the troubling... And that's the true... liberal, and that's what that word means to me as somebody who's an independent politically. The liberal mantra is make everything. You have a right to do everything. It's just why would you do everything? You have a right to do anything you want.
Right.
But that line, I like the line that old Hollywood did. I like great literature that, they say that describing the sex act, a sexual relationship, is the hardest to write.
Right.
It's hard. Capra used to say, showing somebody pray on screen or showing somebody making love on screen, those are hard to film because it's like you can't fake those.
Right.
You can't pretend. It's the same with the violence, so less is more to me.
Yeah.
When you go and it becomes that, in defense of Joker, the filmmaker, who's the filmmaker is Phillips, I want to say.
Joker.
It's
Todd Phillips, yeah.
He said, I don't feel bad about this because at least you feel the violence. Where in comic book movies, you kill 40,000 people and you feel nothing.
Right.
And it's just kind of all right.
Yeah.
So it's nonchalant. So it's troubling.
Yeah.
And but they have a right to make it.
Right. I agree. And
they
it
have a
was
right to make it.
provocative enough as far as mental health and even gun control that I think it's a worthy movie in that regard too. But I will go out and say Willem Dafoe should get the Oscar over Joaquin. And I think this because the dialect, first of all, that he had to do, Willem Dafoe I'm speaking of.
Yes.
And the cadence of his dial, or his, and his monologues that he had. He had two giant monologues. Yeah. One that I literally wanted to get up and just start cheering, like, what are you even doing up there? It was just like a magic... That I think he deserves it, and because his body of work, it's just...
That's a theater experience. I think you're right.
Is.
I think that's, in comparing the two, what's harder to do? I think once you get into the skin or the color and the mask of Joker, he's dancing it, and a lot of people could do that.
I think so. And a lot of people have. Heath Ledger.
Yeah, and a lot of people have, which is a good point. Yes, good point.
So I'm hoping they're going to see Willem Dafoe as a big... But I don't know. It sort of gets buried in all this...
Yeah, Lighthouse...
Parasite. Everyone's already all excited about the violent ones sometimes, and it's like, well...
That's interesting, because I think Lighthouse is just, again, a body... I'm not generally a body of work person that reward... But there are makeups, and they always do the makeups in Hollywood.
Yeah.
The guy wins the Oscar. Jimmy Stewart won for Philadelphia Story. Great film, don't get me wrong. Light.
Right.
But his other films he didn't win Oscars for are stunning. So,
and Dafoe, I mean, they must have done something to his teeth, right, to make him look so ratty. I don't know. His teeth aren't really like that.
God,
I mean, he looked rough.
He was. That's a painting.
It really
is. It's theater. I think you said it best with the monologues. It really is.
And the whole film in general had such an artistic uniqueness to it that I think it deserves something. It
deserves something for sure. And sad again, we talked about this today in the class, films that just come and go and they're not seen. And
I'm hoping that comes back to Parkway 8 too, just
and
for more people.
Yeah, I hope it does come to Parkway, and I would schedule that for these guys even with their...
Right.
And I'll give them the suits.
Right.
I shouldn't start.
That had violence in it too, the Lighthouse, but it wasn't as frequent.
But it's in the storyline. It needs to be there. And again, there's
time and a place.
You're doing a psychological study on what's his name, Arthur Fleck, which is it's the name of somebody that's going to turn into Arthur
Right.
Fleck.
Yeah.
It's like a Fleck he's not
Yeah.
even thought of. It's like Rupert Pupkin in King of Comedy, or Travis Bickle. Those are names that, speak of, I hate to say it, these kind of mass murderers that become, and that's the danger to me, is that the guy that glamorizes this and sees it.
Yeah.
But it's a great piece of work.
Yeah.
I don't know if so I got off the hook, but it's great filming.
Yeah.
So what else? What else?
We're gonna
Cine-World.
Okay.
Did you want to talk
Yeah,
Cine-World?
let's talk about Cine-World.
Did you? So this is, how many of these have you gone to? You've gone to film stuff around the country.
No, I have not actually.
But you started. Your roots are in
Rochester.
Yeah,
In
Eastman
George
House.
That's big.
That's so cool.
I saw a lot of people. I saw Willem Dafoe speak.
Yeah.
Live, and
So-
when he showed his first film, it was amazing.
Those are cool, though. When you bring, and that's what I tried to bring up today, is I like to see a filmmaker or two.
Yeah.
They bring things to the party
Just
to defend the thing.
Anybody. Like even like an actor, even a minor character actor would have brought more fanfare to it, I think.
Yeah, I worry about attendance and the big picture of they're competing with, in an art town like this, there's always stuff to do. And it's just that menace of streaming.
Yeah.
People, I always want people to see it in the real experience, like Godfather coming up.
Right.
I know some people won't go, and I know that the Irishman, they're going to schlep out to the... But if you don't see the Irishman on the big screen, which I said maybe we should go see that with Jimmy,
Yeah.
schlep up there.
Yeah.
Jimmy wants to go. Jimmy like to go see the Irishman. Maybe we do a TED Talk. Jimmy, do a podcast. That's for you, Jimmy. We love you.
So anyway, Cineworld. Yeah. I mean, there were...
So you saw some surprises you liked. What was what surprised you?
The Chambermaid I really liked, and I don't know if
I almost scheduled that, Rox. I should have...
wrote down... I have it in my blog, but
It's all right.
I didn't write down the people involved in it. But Mexico City, a hotel maid, slow moving.
Yeah.
It's basically her life, day to day, what she's doing, but you just get a profound sense of the desperation. This person's stuck. Yet she's trying to find joy where she can find it. She's trying to get educated. She doesn't even have a GED yet. And it's not tragic, but it's moving.
Right.
And there were some artistic things with white and dark, with the white sheets, and there's red involved, and it was good.
It was a little Cold War. I'm not Cold War. Roma.
It really was. I can't believe it. I mean, that's when it went up against Roma. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a little speck compared to Roma as far
Right.
as like artistic. But of course, she didn't have the bank. The
Sure,
person making
sure.
it. In fact, she co-stars in it as a French hotel person who's staying there, a wealthy person who ends up hiring the maid to babysit her infant.
Sure.
And it's amazing.
So
Really,
Chambermaid, I'll look for that.
yeah, I hope it comes back.
Yeah, even if not else, you can stream it. It'd be still effective.
Yeah, I think so.
So did you Parasite? How's that sitting with you now after the
I
fest?
like it better after
In time?
The more and more I think about it, the storytelling was brilliant.
But yet you did your edit though.
Yeah,
By
shutting my eyes.
so no, but that's an interesting. I said that today almost serendipitously. That's an edit.
Yeah,
So to me, if I'm doing that and I'm doing this, I'm doing the hand gestures
right.
like
Then you're right.
and I'm sitting next to somebody who's not affected by it at all. It's like they're having let's have another tea.
I know.
Shish kebab.
I'm always amazed.
So it's weird.
It is.
It's weird.
I don't think it needed all that violence. I think you could have had a lesser violent scene and still had the impact. I think. But then a lot of people said, no, you had to have this great crescendo to this whole piece. I don't know.
Yeah, but you could show it. You could show it the cuts. You can do it in a.
Yeah.
You can do it in a Zorba kind of way. You can do it in a kind of old school kind of way. It's still impactful theater of the mind. You're anticipating the cut.
Don't you think the directors probably get into this sort of competitive, like, let me see if I can be a little bit racier than this or you know what I mean? Or
yeah, I think they do, and I think that.
I mean, I wonder if this guy saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and thought, all right, let's see what I'm going to do. Or, I don't know what the timeline was, but...
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, though, I think because of who he kills there.
Right.
And again, I don't want to wreck it.
Right.
It worked for me, and I was so in love with the filmmaking
Right.
of that. And And again, I'm not the biggest. I don't. I'm not 100%